Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with today's trading action. All right, now just looking at the markets, they've finally settled down, right? There's a bit of a to and fro with a bit of data and a bit of Trump updates. A little bit of a test to the downside there in euro, sterling, Aussie, and Kiwi. And I've just updated those support trend lines to the to what's happening now. You can be. I'm starting to get confident. I was going to say you can be confident as well that the dollar is now starting to form a very clear trend, right? Across even dollar CAD joining in, even with oil falling back to 74 bucks. So, right. So we're starting to see euro, sterling, Aussie, Kiwi move to the top side. Now, this doesn't mean that Trump can't come out and change things, but he has, like, it's an old, they used to call it a couching technique, right? When I was managing traders in the bank, you sort of, you come in and you tell them all the bad stuff, but then it's all going to be good or vice versa. But so Trump's come out before he was inaugurated, said he was going to be 25% tariffs on China. That's now softer at 10%, right? And it's almost easier for China to swallow that and go, okay, well, let's get on with it, right? That's the whole idea of it. But that is going to help the Aussie, Kiwi, and the CAD, so dollar CAD going down, the commodity currencies. It's going to help them a lot, right? And it is taking the pressure off euro and sterling. And you know what? It gives the dollar a bit of a reprieve. And that's actually almost better for the US dollar, right? A lower dollar, they're going to sell more stuff. The Bank of Japan, okay, hike rates as expected. Now we're getting the dollar move, right? So to me, like things are looking like for the first time in a couple of weeks worth getting into, right? So you look at the fundamentals where impact can come from. We've got some PMI numbers out of Germany. Like Germany is the main center for Europe, so they're more important than the Eurozone numbers, but I would be keeping an eye on both. You got the flash PMI numbers, services and manufacturing out of the UK, worth just having a bow peep. Like there's not a lot really going on, right? And you come down to the North America session. I can't see the new housing price index doing too much for the Canadian dollar. You get existing home sales, University of Michigan sentiment, the final numbers. So there's a few little dribs and drabs, but nothing that's really going to change the current trend, right? All we need to be doing is, if the Donald is talking, let's listen, right? He has dropped back to a softer approach on the tariffs, and that is a good thing, as I said, for Aussie, Kiwi, CAD. And if you look across the global markets, right, there hasn't been much shift though in the US Treasury yields, right? They are still pretty steady. So you're not getting a lead in there. What we are seeing is US equity futures down, and we're seeing the dollar block, euro, sterling, Aussie, Kiwi up, and the dollar down. So across the financial markets, it's a slight bit of discombobulation, right? Because if the equities usually go lower, it's a risk-off situation. Euro, sterling, Aussie, Kiwi fall, right? But it's not happening, right? Don't get confused with that. Look for momentum and the trend. We are starting to see things line up. The dollar is heading lower by the looks of things. Ideally, what I would like to see is when we look at the longer term charts, let me just change screens there. I've got the wrong one. Let's come back to this one. We're sort of looking, the dollar has gone so far against a lot of these currencies. As I load the daily charts up, it's got a long way before those long-term trends flip over. And that's when we'll see the big move out of the dollar, right? But you know what? The dollar fundamentally is strong. Let me just wait for these screens to upload. And so there's a little bit of there's some things to learn here, right? And what I would be sort of talking about as these screens load, right? If I just load the dollar index, so looking at the long-term chart, this is where your support and resistance comes in, right? We've got a long-term uptrend in the dollar. Now, this is a daily trend line. Okay, so screen's moving around on me there. Now, we've got a break down here. Now, this is a break of a long-term trend line, but the real indication here of an uptrend or downtrend is down here. Now, you don't have to wait till it gets to 104.74 before you get short. It's already breaking down technically. We know that as a trader because we know how support and resistance works. Is it still in an uptrend? Yeah, potentially, right? That's where we define it with the bull bear pivot line, but this is breaking down. Okay, so just for those traders who are using a few different analysis tools here, just understand we are starting to see the dollar turn around, and I'm not going to be waiting for it to hit these, daily bull bear pivot lines before I get long or short. I can see the euro's broken higher. I'll start to prepare to get into that trade looking at the short term charts. Sterling looks like it's primed. Aussie's started to go, as has the Kiwi, right? Dollar CAD, man, it's been going up for so long. It's ready to go down, as is dollar yen, dollar Swiss. The dollar index is already going. So there's a couple of things here, right? Practical, technical analysis along with where those indicators come into play with defining what's going on, right? So you've got to use some trader nous here to look for the opportunities. Make sure you're looking at the right one. At the same time as I say that, don't forget, like on the longer term time frames, a lot of these are oversold. It's going to be interesting to see whether like euro overbought, sterling's almost there, Aussie's overbought, and so is Kiwi, right? So what does that do for us? If anything, if you're not sure, just sit on the sidelines for another day. I would say by Monday, Tuesday, we'll have a better indication of what's going on. There's lots of activity on the, on the short-term charts here. Like the dollar is giving up some grounds. Are we going to see it continue? I think so. All right, guys, that's it from me. Just that was supposed to be a short update. We'll start coming through. I want to start doing a lot more live sessions with you guys. And school holidays over here in Australia, so I can actually get in there, get my hands dirty, and start pulling some cash out of the market. All right, guys, have a good weekend. All the best. Cheerio.